Hello. Let's turn on chat. Remind me to turn off the music later. Hello. Sorry, I am tired and stressed as fuck today, so if I look tired and I haven't done makeup, that's why. It's been a date. It's been a day. I woke up at 4 because my cat was throwing up, which is, you know, cat owner problems, am I right? Looking really good. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, this is like a custom made joint by a local like kinda, I don't even know what you would call it, like a local artisan art collective. I don't know. I got it at a like a flea market. 4 a.m. 4 a.m. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, and then also, so we're gonna have, you know, if my mods can chill it in chat, if you would like to donate, I would appreciate it. I had to get on a phone plan, or a new phone plan, with me and my partner yesterday because their phone fucking broke, like kaput, doesn't charge, but they need one for work. They just got a job. So cleared out a little bit of savings for that. And so we are, and rent just came out. So if you would like to donate a couple bucks via Ko-Fi, that would be Ko-Fi or Cash App or Venmo or anything. That'd be super chill. Super chill. Hello, Simric. Yeah, that's Megan Fox. I also have a I don't know where that thing is actually. My Switch, like the stand that you put the Switch in to charge, has a Jennifer's Body sticker on it. I'm pretty sure it's packed away somewhere, but if I find it, I'll show it to chat. But yeah, it's been a day. It's been a day, and I've been working kind of nonstop since 4 a.m. when I woke up. I took a brief nap. But yeah, now I am here with all of you, and we can talk about the horrors together. The doc, yes, the doc. C4V8. In my country, Jennifer's Body is called Hellgirl. I don't like Hellgirl as much, and that I think that might just be like that. It sounds more like a comic book. Fighting Hobbit, somewhere have a Candyman shirt that's styled like a Vault of Horror comic cover. It's so weird that you say that because I've been getting into comics a little bit recently because the local game store I go to play Magic. Nibblequick, is it too early to ask about the Jarch? We are getting a Jarch. We are getting a Jarch. I can say that for sure. But the local store I go to play Magic, like, there's like a $6 entry fee. If you win your pod for the first game, you get $8 in store credit. So I have like a little bit of store credit saved up because I'm not fucking buying these shit-ass Spider-Man Magic cards. And so I've been getting in there. I actually have 2 of them right here. I've been cashing in on some comic books lately. And the thing about comics is I used to love comics. But I sold all of them at one point, like all the ones I had kind of collected since childhood, just because I was like, I don't need these anymore. I never read them. And while I like a lot of comic stories, modern comics, like as it pertains to like DC and Marvel, I do want to, in fairness, I do want to eventually sit down and read like the modern Ultimate lines, and like Absolute Batman is kind of at the top of the list of stuff I want to dig into, but I'm not going to buy them singleton. Like, I'm not going to pay $5 per fucking issue, because like I can pay $10 for a month of Marvel Unlimited. Oh hello, Cuban. Cat's already here. $10 for a month of our Marvel Unlimited, and fucking, you know, if I'm in the mood for comics, I'll just read 100, 200 comics. And so like, but also it's because like you're paying $5 now for Marvel comics, and half the fucking thing is advertisements. Like next time you're at a comic store, go fucking like just thumb through, if they're not all in backers and cases, go thumb through the like whatever comics are on the new release wall. Holy shit. Sorry, give me 1 second. Excuse me. Hello, Kibben. Hello, Kibben. And ladies sitting right next to me too. Oh, I know, Saga. What's this? I haven't watched any of Peacemaker season 2 yet. I like season 1, but I haven't checked out season 2 yet. I need to watch that. Yeah, I go through, I think I've talked about how I go through phases with TV. I don't generally keep up to date on like any, you know, modern like TV. Like, why would I? DC Compact are the best. I do like those DC Compacts. Thank you very much, Castric Defiance, for €5. Here's a little something for the Jar Jar watch. Thank you. But no, I've been putting some cash towards other comics from id, because I really love the stuff they've done with Godzilla in the past. And to me, it's like, okay, if I'm paying for a story, like you are paying for the art, you are paying for like the comic, the issue, the cover, all that shit. But I am also paying not to be fucking advertised to, because I'm not, you know, like I'm saying, like Marvel comics are getting fucking shorter and more padded with ads, and you're getting like 10, 15 pages. Like, it's just not fucking worth it. However, good recommendations. I got Starship Godzilla, real fun. id Comics has been doing a new like Kaisei era banner that I've been really enjoying, and then I've also been getting into the new Entertainment Comics label, because they've been putting out a bunch of different like sub-series. And so I've got like Epitaphs from the Abyss, I've got A Cruel Universe, and yeah, I think like instead of, you know, and I like horror short stories, I like those kind of old Tales from the Crypt and stuff, and that is a better way to support my local comics, support, you know, medium-sized artists and stuff, rather than fucking, you know, the slop trough. I think that's the other thing that really bugs me about modern comics is like, it's so, I don't know, I look at a lot of Marvel stuff and it just all looks like, and maybe I'm just getting cynical and jaded, but it just looks like fucking like if you're wearing the glasses from They Live and you just put on the glasses and they all look like Funko Pops to me. Like, it's just like, oh, you turned Gwen Stacy into Venom. Okay, it's Deadpool but with Venom, or it's the Punisher but he's Deadpool, or it's Wolverine but it's Venom Punisher. It's just like, and then, you know, we are 1,000 deep into earth-shattering, you know, big comic book events, and I'm sure, you know, somebody's gonna die and they'll be back next year, and it's just like, Yeah, no, I've seen. I was actually talking about that with my electrolysis. IDK if I should read TMNT comics anymore with the Paramount stuff. What Paramount stuff? Unless you're talking about the Barry Weiss shit. Yeah, and that's the thing is that Monty the Ogre, that's the thing I find like interesting about DC, like the Absolute line is such a fascinating look. And I'm kind of shocked that they didn't do it earlier. I feel like they were trying to do something like it with the New 52, like a total reset, but the Absolute universe feels more like what Marvel originally planned the Ultimate Universe to be. Where the Ultimate Universe eventually over time, and I've talked about like, you know, Seder Doctor Doom is a great example. The Ultimate Universe over time just kind of like morphed into a slightly edgier version of the main Marvel continuity. Pack 1558, thank you for 15 months. I'm trying to find where to get the Judge Dredd comics to read those. Look on like Internet Archive, or there's a couple comic websites or websites that like archive comics, like the i.eu. I think if that's still up, they had a massive repository of like all the old Dark Horse AVP comics, a lot of the Hellraiser, like Clive Barker written comics. I binged a lot of stuff through there. Years and years ago. I'm actually curious. I've heard okay things about the IDW Sonic stuff too. No, and I've heard good things about Martian Manhunter. Absolute Martian Manhunter. Like, that's cool. Yeah, Zen Lore. Sorry to ask right now. Did you see what Miller said about Trump having authority? Yeah. Like, that's not surprising. Like, Miller has been saying... Stephen Miller has been saying... I don't know why people have been surprised lately, because Stephen Miller has been one of the biggest cheerleaders of Trump's overreach of, you know, the judiciary, the executive, like just fucking trying to blend or take over all this shit for years and years. He was one of the big voices behind like unitary executive theory the first time around. Have I seen one battle after another? No, not yet. Have I read any books lately? I just started a book by Schopenhauer, or I guess it's a couple stories or books from Schopenhauer into one. I did. Let me see. Actually, I think I pulled that up. I want to make sure I have the Stephen Miller Facebook post. Yeah, hell yeah, I do. Thank you for reminding me of that. I had it saved to my doc, and I want to make sure I talked about that. No, I haven't seen, to answer that question, I haven't seen one battle after another yet. I do want to. I might end up taking myself to see it. Consider hosting a Stardew Valley stream with Emily Randall from Washington State. Sure, I am not familiar with Emily Randall, but I'll look that up. Oh, wait. There we go. Spooky Pepper 6900, thank you for 8 months. Oh, I forgot to share this. Read Contact Harvest. Oh, that's the I know Contact Harvest. That's the Johnson book from that's the Johnson Halo book. Or is that did they make a comic about it? Oh, nice, Kamigo. I'm not done with the music yet. We're still chilling. We're still chilling. We're just vibing for now. Hello, baby. All right, I'm gonna turn camera down a little bit so people can see Kevin. No, put your head back up, baby. There we go. There we go. And there's... Do you want to come say hi? Yeah, I love you, dog. Favorite movie star from the 80s? I don't know. What's favorite movie star from the 80s? I don't know. Like, top of my head. Because here's the thing. There's not a lot of movie stars of the 80s that weren't also, like, movie stars of the 90s in some way or another. You know, like, I would say, like, oh, Arnold. You know, but Arnold was just as much a star in the 80s as in the 90s. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good... You know, maybe Michael J. Fox, considering, like, that was like, his prime... Like, Michael J. Fox was very prolific in the 80s for what he did. My tail is hemorrhoid. Thank you for $4.99. Lemon character taking his sunglasses off and raising his arm to greet someone, imitated by Baby Lemon. I do not know what that means. Molly Ringwald. Molly Ringwald. You know what? Yeah, you fucking ate that. That's good. Michael Biehn. Oh, fuck. You guys are so... Damn. No, you got me. You ate me up with that. Michael Biehn might actually be the answer. Like, between... Even though Michael Biehn did a lot of other stuff with Cameron, because I think he was in The Abyss. I know he was in The Rock with Michael Bay, directed by Michael Bay. But he was in, you know, Aliens and Terminator, and, like, what if... Already? What a fucking run. Who's my favorite screen cream? Samara Weaving. Samara Weaving, like, #1 with a bullet. Samara Weaving, the GOAT. Yeah, I had my... Look, if I had my druthers about the world... And I understand Michael Biehn is probably a little bit too old for it now. But, like, if you rewind time, like, 10 years back... I would have loved to have casted him as the Doom Marine in a more faithful, like, adaptation of Doom and in a film. Like, I think he has the perfect amount of, like, grizzled jadedness that he could have really fucking killed that. That's Hugo Weaving's daughter? Damn. I guess I can kind of see it. No, Samara Weaving fucking whips, and it pisses me off every time somebody, like, there's that thing that goes around, and it's like, look at all these white ladies who look just like Margot Robbie, and I'm like, fuck, you fucking put some respect on Samara's name, I swear to God. Oh, yeah, Michael. Well, so the cover art for the first Metal Gear game on the PC game was based on, I think, promo art. I think it was like just a magazine screenshot that Hideo Kojima probably fucking saw of Michael Biehn in the first Terminator. She's his niece. Okay, yeah, then that makes sense why I don't really see a resemblance. Yeah, they are both Ballad Australians. Yeah, and so for those who don't know, Samara Weaving did The Babysitter, which I fucking love. God, what a fucking film. I like The Babysitter too, as well. Ready or Not, she was at the beginning of Scream 6. She's done a couple other things here and there, but like most of this... Oh, she was in a Steven Yeun movie. What was it called? Rampage? No, it wasn't Rampage. Mayhem? I think it might have been called Mayhem. I don't remember. Started playing MGS2 for the first time. Terrible at it, and the first boss is a pregnant woman. What the fuck, Kojima? Oh, I guess Olga is the first technical boss, isn't she? Yeah. I was trying to think. I'm like, Fat Man? No, because you fight Fat Man after Fortune. Yeah, that's Mayhem. Yep, that was Mayhem. Hey, Replicant Diego. Drive an hour away. I'll be streaming for over an hour. Yeah, I'm just chilling. Oh, Jules Demers, what are we talking about today? Hopefully something good. We need positivity. I leaned my camera down, but then the cat just leaned lower. So. Oh yeah, Michael J. Fox would have fucking ate as Peter Parker. Not gonna lie, not gonna lie. Oh, here's Kevin. Here's Kevin. Favorite kaiju? Ooh. That's a tough one. I mean, like, probably if I had to say Godzilla, it would probably either be -1 or 95 versus Destroy. Oh, you know, probably actually Godzilla 2003 GMK. The one with the wide eyes. Oh, I fucking love wide-eyed Godzilla. I do miss Tony Todd. Yeah, Tony Todd. God. I did not expect to actually roll real fucking tears in the theater watching Final Destination. Just like, yeah, I have a letterbox. I don't have my phone near me. I'll share it out on Twitter because I am seeing Tron Ares tomorrow. Millennium era Godzilla goes hard. Well, I don't want to say I don't care for I don't care for Final Wars Godzilla. But a lot of other Godzillas from that era, pretty into. I don't know. Millennium era is the one that when I come back to it, it's the one that I will rewatch stuff the least, like Megaguirus. I don't give a fuck. When I fucking watched Megaguirus, I'm just like, I have tried to watch that movie so many fucking times, and I just like cannot bring myself to give a shit about that stupid bug. Which is not the case with other ones. Like I watched what was it? Godzilla versus Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, which is the 2004 one, 2003 one, 2002. I don't remember. But that was re-released in theaters a couple years ago. I took a partner to go see it, and seeing that on a big screen actually really like gave me kind of a new perspective. I really like that a lot more now, having seen it on the big screen. I think it tells I like the main character a lot more. I think probably one of the better main characters of the series. And then I saw Tokyo SOS, which is the follow-up, canonically the follow-up. Also pretty good. Like the design there. Of course, you know, Godzilla 2000's design goes stupid hard. Was Megaguirus the evil Mothra? No, that's Batra. I mean, like, Megaguirus is kind of an evil Mothra, but no, the one you're thinking of is Batra. The one that everybody talks about is from the Mothra trilogy, which is another, like, are movies that nobody fucking watches. Kind of for good reason. Those are, I don't know. If you want to get into like weird shit, was Batra from that, or was Batra from Godzilla versus Mothra in the 90s? I think Batra might have actually been from that, because when they brought back yeah, I don't. Man, the 90s Godzilla movies. Like, if you, because a lot of people, I think, saw Godzilla -1, and they've probably seen Shin Godzilla, and that's been their, like, first exposure to Godzilla. And, you know, they're like, okay, well, I want to check out what other shit this Godzilla guy's in. And go and I think a lot of people look at cover images of the Showa era movies and be like, okay, well, not those, which is a mistake. Y'all got to check out fucking Ishiro Honda was cooking in the 70s with Mechagodzilla and Terror of Mechagodzilla. Those fucking movies whip. But then the Heisei era is so fucking strange because you have really good, like, weird sci-fi horror like Biollante. I fucking love Biollante. And then you've got kind of poop from a butt, like, and I have a sauce, so I like Space Godzilla, but like I get why people also don't. And then you've got stuff that is like one of the most insane films you could probably ever watch is Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, the 92, 93 one. Because it like, if you don't know, first off, if you don't know what it's about, find a copy and go in entirely fucking blind. Do not watch it. Or do not look it up. Do not spoil it for yourself. If you can go in entirely blind to the 90s Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, cinema. Magnifique. Fucking, it's one of, like, it's a batshit film that is also actually, like, kind of pretty good. Yeah, it is fucking Kino. It is insane. Have I seen War of the Gargantuas? Yeah, that's the one with the giant, like, ape monsters, right? Yeah, I've seen War of the Gargantuas. I like, if we're talking like the kind of Showa spin-off Toho movies, I myself have always been more partial to Frankenstein versus Baragon, also known as Frankenstein Saves the World, or Frankenstein versus the World. Something like that. Which is a really just like, it hits that perfect. There are some Showa era Toho like kaiju movies that, like, some of them are really fucking boring. Some of them you can tell they were made on a shoestring budget. They were made just to like put a name out there. Like, there's a lot of the Godzilla ones in the middle that are like just kind of interminable to get through. But then there are some like gems out there, and I think Baragon versus Frankenstein is one of them. And I think another one that really gets overlooked a lot is King Kong Escapes. And that's the one with Mechanicon. And like, both of those movies just have like wacky, crazy-haired, wild-haired, like mad scientist villains. And it's so kitschy. It's what you want. Right? Like, it's what you want from that, like, kind of midnight movie flavor. Like, if we're gonna go crazy, let's get fucking nuts. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Ever watch that one from North Korea? Pulgasari? Yeah. That was Pulgasari, right? Yeah, it was Pulgasari. Because Pulgasari was the one that was made by, I think, kidnapping filmmakers from another country. Because there's Pulgasari, and now I'm trying to think of all the other not Godzillas there are. There's Pulgasari, there's Gorgo, which was from Britain. There's Yongary, who is from South Korea, I believe, if I'm remembering that right. Yeah, okay, yeah. And then I do love Gamera. Like, I love most of the Gamera movies, even if they're bad. Even though I've Gamera, the last Gamera movie of the Showa era, the one that is like he's fighting the fairy ladies or whatever the fuck, is like, that is the look. Gamera was always, well, okay, Showa era Gamera was always a cut below Godzilla. And then that one is the, like, Godzilla's Revenge, Son of Godzilla of the era, where it's just like, oh, they made this on $1.50 in a dream. Actually, not even a dream. They just made this on $1.50. Gorgo is a hidden gem. You know what? I will agree with that. I like Gorgo. Gorgo is pretty fun. Yeah, Gorgo's all right. But no, the other one, what was I doing? And then if you haven't seen, so again, Vesper's Guide for Getting into Godzilla. If you, or just kaiju in general, if you haven't, or if you've watched, Godzilla -1, if you watch Shin Godzilla and you're like, I want to dip my toe more into the world of kaiju, and I want like good shit, not just like, you want a little mix of fun, you want some goofy stuff, but like you want that good. The Gamera 90s trilogy are unironically, no argument, peak. Like I will sit up on my soapbox and be like, yo, Final Wars kind of fucking peak. Final Wars is, it's not a good movie, but it is so much movie per movie. And it goes so hard in the paint. Like Final Wars goes bonkers with it, just doing tricks on it. And so like I will recommend Final Wars. If you only know -1, Final Wars is a great follow-up, honestly. But like other than that, the Gamera 90s movies, Defender of the Universe, what are the other ones? Because I know what the kaiju are, because it's Gauss, and then the other one, and then the wiggly one that the girl finds in a cave. Revenge of Eris. Yep, that's the one. God, those movies whip so hard, and I love Gamera's like the physical evolution of the puppet. Like, fuck, so good. And then also, you know what? Another really good one, and it goes kind of underappreciated because it's kind of this weird standalone thing that came out in like 2006. I don't even know if it got a. No, it did get a U.S. release, but like Gamera the Brave was the last, before the Gamera TV show that came out on Netflix. Gamera the Brave was the last Gamera movie. Really good. I really like the fucking villain of that. That movie is, Guardian of the Universe, Revenge of Legion. No, something of Legion. Nah, fuck, you're right. Either way. Gamera the Brave is like if Spielberg made a kaiju movie. Like they somehow managed to like really capture the small town, like almost E.T. / Stand By Me vibe, but with a kaiju film. It kind of whips. I really like Gamera the Brave. So, yeah. Look, there's plenty of time for awful shit. Attack of Legion. Fuck, you're right. Yep. Do I like found footage horror? I'm okay with it. I've watched a lot of horror in my day, and found footage horror is so. It's very hit and miss because it's so. One thing I read a book on film history or kaiju film history in particular, which so this kind of ties into the conversation as it is. And it presented the argument that I still think about, and that is that like kaiju movies, the reason that, because a lot of people will shit on kaiju movies for being like, oh, it's ridiculous, big dumb monsters, like all these movies are stupid. And they're not. Like, just because they have an unrealistic conceit at the core of them, that just makes them a unique genre, which is true. Like, kaiju movies are, they are technically action movies, but depending on, what era they're from, like, they can be sci-fi, they can be horror, they can be romance, they cross all of these other genres, right? And so, like, the argument is that kaiju movies are a genre unto themselves, and that you go into that genre with an understanding of the core conceit. Like you wouldn't go, for example, you wouldn't go into a horror movie and be like, this guy's getting stabbed to death, that's fucking dumb. Like, why are they running from this ghost? Just punch him. It's like, like you kind of understand that, like, no, this is how the genre goes. And so, like, I think that's the thing with, like, found footage horror is that, like, when you sit down and watch found footage horror in particular, you have to buy into the idea that all of this is fake, but it is fake in a way that it is trying to sell you realism. And that is it's a very hard line to walk, because, like, so much found footage horror, it relies on, you know, I think it's why Blair Witch is still one of the best ones, is that it relies on good, realistic acting, minimal acting, and camaraderie between, like, a minimal cast. And also realism between how they're approaching the subject matter, how it's being filmed. You look at the way that Paranormal Activity went, and, like, some of those movies just... I remember watching one in theaters and just fucking laughing. I think it was Paranormal Activity, The Ghost Dimension, because I didn't keep up with those fucking films. But I remember seeing it in theaters with, like, a friend or something. And the end is, like, a bunch of, like, cholos rolling up in a haunted house. And one of them, or one of, like, the main guy is, like, recording all this shit on his phone. And it's, like... It's this thing where the suspension of disbelief meets the, like, limitations of the genre to see a bunch of, like, you know, LA gangsters rolling up and, like, brandishing guns and yelling at ghosts. And it's like... But yeah. It's like, you gotta be the chosen ones. That's what it was. That's what it was. It's like, you gotta be in for that shit, you know? And so it's like, if you're in for that, that can be fun, that can be entertaining. It's a lot like kaiju movies. It's like, you kind of have to accept the conceit of the genre. You gotta buy into it. Otherwise, you're gonna be sitting there being annoyed by it, picking it apart. It's kind of the same thing. I've wanted to do a piece on it for a while. Obviously not the fucking right time for it, though. But, like, it's kind of a conversation that I think back to when I think of, like, cop films and propaganda. Because I think, like, much like kaiju movies, there is this understand... First off, I think a lot of people don't understand it, and that's the problem with cop and propaganda. But I think there is this understanding that, like, movie cops are not real cops. That, like, when you're fucking watching Bad Boys and you're watching Will Smith, you know, dive through the air, double fisting guns, it's like, okay, but that's not how real shit goes, you know. But yeah, to finish up on found footage horror, I don't know. I like the Hell House movies. I thought those were all right. First Paranormal Activity was real footage. Woof. Woof. That's rough. That, I'm not gonna lie, that's rough. But yeah, no, I thought I'd be talking about Tron by now, honestly, but y'all got me on that Godzilla autism. In case you thought I was playing, as I go to take a drink, I just realized this is my Godzilla cup. I think it's marked ones. Marked ones sounds right. That sounds like the one. Yeah, and see, I did not like Creep. And, like, that's the other thing. Bring my Optimus for Tron. Fuck. Look, and I have a tweet that's kind of going around, but I'm a massive Tron fan. Like I know I kind of whinged last stream about how I'm a big Silent Hill fan. It's been a big year for me because not only am I a massive Silent Hill fan, I'm a massive Tron fan. Like, those are two of what I would say, like, the 5 series that, like, are near and dear to my heart. Like I don't carry a lot of franchise water anymore. Like, I have the things I like, and I will kind of pick and choose the things that I remember and hold dear, you know, like from Star Wars or Marvel and stuff. But I'm not fucking, you know, I opened by talking about how I'm not fucking reading Marvel comics or anything. Tron, Silent Hill are up there for me with, like, Mortal Kombat, Devil May Cry, like shit that I'm like, I'm ride or die for. Seeing James Charles at the Tron Ares premiere dancing with Tesla's AI robot with advertisements in the background featuring Grok and XAI dealt me psychic damage I don't know if I'll ever be able to recover from. Like, it feels like a true insult to me personally. Yeah, no, Somnus, they're really doing everything possible to make me not want to see a fucking Tron movie. And I'm like, come on. And Jared Leto being the main character, yeah. Can I recommend the animated series Tron Legacy? You're thinking of Tron Uprising. Tron Legacy was the second movie. But yes, you can. Tron Uprising is really good. Really, really fucking cool style. Really fucking cool style. And it got, pretty sure it got Bruce Boxleitner back for Tron. Yeah. Tron Renegade? Tron Renegade would whip. But no, like, and here's the thing is that Tron has had, it's also had, this year came out with Tron Catalyst, which is, God, what's his name? Oh, the dude he's done a lot of, like, indie games. Fuck, I can't remember his name right now. But anyway, a couple years ago, Tron Identity was like a visual novel that came fucking out of nowhere. And the follow-up to that is Tron Catalyst, which is like a really cool kind of top-down action pseudo-open world game. It's good. I really, that came out this year. That's such a bummer. Garrick the Taylor, you can't be saying that stuff. You can't be saying that Jared Leto is the best Joker. How is Tron 2.0? I only got like 5 minutes in. Tron 2.0 is good. So Tron 2.0 is a weird fucking game. For those who don't know, Tron 2.0 was the like sequel game to Tron that came out in 2004, I think, somewhere around there, from Monolith. Like, same company that made Condemned, Criminal Origins, and Fear. And it's such a weird, cool game, because it has like a little bit of that shooter flavor from the era, where it has like a little bit of the enemy designs and stuff. You know, before we get into the heavy shit, let's talk about Tron 2.0. Let's see if I can find some screenshots. Because the enemies and stuff are like, the enemies, the designs of the characters look like if you had, like you put Tron in Unreal Tournament or something. Like, I think the designs are so cool. The aesthetic is so cool. And it's not, the weird thing is, it's not really a boomer shooter. And it's not really a immersive sim, but it's kind of an immersive sim. Like, you do, like, solve environmental puzzles. You do talk to, like, NPCs a lot. What a weird, it's a fucking cool looking game. It has first-person, like, first-person disc combat. Yeah, what a weird. It's really cool though. Yeah, but it's I don't know. It takes a little while to get going because it also has a kind of unintuitive. But like, fucking look at this, man. Look at this. Ugh, so good. It takes a while to get going. It's been a couple years since I played it, but it does have. I remember it having kind of a rough, like, level up system to try and learn and acclimate to. I don't remember what it was, but it was just like kind of weird. Yeah, there is a little bit of system shockiness to it. Yeah, like not a lot, but a little bit. There are the kind of light RPG elements and stuff. But man, yeah, there's the Tron arcade cabinet in there. But you play as Alan Bradley's son. So the original Tron coder, this is the dude you play as, which is like, yep, that sure is a mid-2000s computer programmer look. Like they sure did put a mid-2000s computer program in there. And then also Mercury is cool as fuck. Mercury's like a side female character. Which is funny why people now, because I've already read some reviews and stuff about Tron Ares, and people are bitching about oh, it's girl boss this, girl boss that. And it's like, fucking get out of my fucking zone, you fake ass fans. Like, for real. Like, y'all don't even know who Mercury is. Man, what a game. Yeah, there she is. Thank you, Theo Turcos. Alrighty, chat. I love Mercury. I put it in my coffee. Also, if y'all, because I know we have some autism in here, like mine. No, Mercury early gaming crush for real. If y'all want a really cool, because I know I'm willing to bet some of y'all have some like emulators out there. Tron 2.0 Killer App is a game I again love. Tron 2.0 Killer App. Where the fuck is it? It's there we go. The Game Boy Advance. GBA is a top-down, it's a bizarre game. Top-down action game, and it has entirely 3D sections, like 3D first-person light tank and recognizer sections, where it becomes like a first-person shooter and you fly, and the recognizer sections. And I'm talking about like on Game Boy Advance. It's incredibly ambitious. Cool side story too. Anyway, I will be right back, and then let's start on some actual shit. All right, sorry, Kibben, you gotta get down. I know. All right. Have I tried Hades 2 yet? I've played like a half hour of Hades 2. I want to play a lot more. I've just been too busy. Like, straight up. Yeah, I wish I had, excuse me. I wish I had more time. I don't. I've been so fucking busy all the time. Speaking of me being busy, if y'all feel like donating a little bit, like I mentioned, I had some unexpected and very sudden expenditures come up recently. So if you want to help out with any of those, feel free to donate at the Ko-Fi link. It will be shown in the chat. I appreciate it. All of the support goes towards me and my currently big investigative pieces where, for example, I've been spending several hours in the last couple days when I'm doing other things for work listening to Destiny debates, because I'm doing a deep dive piece on Destiny in the spirit of the ones I've done on Brianna Wu, Matt Walsh, Synthetic Man, etc., etc. I have several videos like that, so, or several projects in the works like that. If you enjoyed the kind of long form conceptual video essay I did on nostalgia, I have one coming on AI that will be, I have a really cool idea for that. I need to go ask a local university if I can film using some of their area for that. What else have I got working on? I have a video coming on Hideo Kojima's mommy issues, still proceeding apace. I have a video on a brief history of floating rocks used as like dreamscapes in video games and fiction, also coming pretty soon. And then I have a much bigger investigative piece that I've been working on for several months that I am hoping will be out. It's probably next month, honestly. No, Castrix, I haven't gotten to the incest debate yet, but like I'm so fucking I just like, he's such a shit. I hate him so much just listening to him, because listening to a couple Destiny debates is fascinating because it becomes clear how like talented of a debater he actually is at pushing back, like maneuvering through the debate space. But then it also becomes clear like how pedantic he is and how little he actually believes anything he fucking says. And so it turns every fucking thing I listen to into an exercise in frustration, just sitting there listening to him. Anyway, yeah, if you want to help out, feel free to donate at the Ko-Fi link. That money goes directly to me. Otherwise, donations to the channel are also always appreciated. Anne Berge, thank you very much for subscribing. Same with Nathaniel Bobek, thank you for subbing. How he made his son a Nazi. Yeah, that's another thing we're talking about. So, Asmon versus Destiny, who's worse? To my knowledge, Asmon hasn't, like, and granted, this is to my knowledge. Like, Asmon is fucking gross. Destiny is a predator. Like, Destiny has predated on members of his community. Like, between the two, Destiny is the one who's received fucking, like, nudes from a 17-year-old. Asmon is a piece of shit. Asmon is a contrarian grognard ding-dong. To my knowledge, hasn't done that. So, like, unfuck America thing? Fuck no. I'm watching, well, okay, I have some of it, like, logged. I'm gonna watch some of it because, like, it's maybe the most succinct way you could explain how Destiny has this just libidinal need to make everything about himself, is that another dude died and he was like, oh, I gotta capitalize on this. Like, he's so short-sighted, he's so selfish, he's so like immature. It's fucking bonkers. And he weaponized, yeah, and then he has the cult of personality around him, which is fucking crazy. I did. I saw Moist Critical called BB genocidal. JFO, Asmongold is really a piece of shit. How is he even popular? Unfortunately, I think it answered your own question because there are a lot of pieces of shit out there. Like that's my thing. So this is from Stephen Miller's cousin on Facebook. A preface. I have debated also sharing this. A week ago, after the ICE raids in Camarillo, I had the worst panic attack I've experienced in over 30 years. Hours of sobbing, shaking, nausea, and complete loss of control into the early morning hours led me to do the only thing that ever brings some clarity: write. The next day I started to write while still reeling from the emotional hangover. A few days later I was struck with another panic attack, this time as I was driving home. This sent me back into a spiral of heartbreak. I picked up where I'd left off and kept writing. Many of you know who my cousin is. Being public about it is something I've struggled with, which is fucking fair. I live with real fear about what posting something this raw might bring. I'm living with the deep pain of watching someone I once loved become the face of evil. But I know that staying silent only deepens the ache. There's so much more I could say, and maybe someday I will. It's a long read. I'm wordy as fuck. Last night, I found myself in a stage of grief I didn't even realize I had been carrying. A grief that's been inside me for years, quiet but constant. It comes from being so close to the root of something violent and vile in this country. I cried until I couldn't breathe, hours of sobbing, gasping, shaking, sick to my stomach with a weight in my chest that was too heavy to fight. I was having a panic attack I couldn't escape. Maybe it was 10 years of anger and pain finally breaking through the surface. Maybe it was the most recent ICE raids turning my rage into sorrow. Whatever it was, something in me cracked wide open and has shaken me to my core. I think many of us are grieving a world that feels more cruel than kind, a future that feels further away each day. Fuck, that's bars. A nation with resources. We could be a nation with resources to ensure everyone lives with dignity, equity, health, and safety. A nation with enough technological and medical advancements to be something truly extraordinary. But instead, those resources and that wealth are being hoarded by a few, poisoned by ego and power, devoid of empathy, starving the rest. Our privilege has been wasted on cruelty and torture, targeting the very people who make our communities whole, the hardest workers, the most vulnerable, the ones who carry this country on their backs. A society is only as strong as its most vulnerable, and ours are at their weakest. This is not by accident, but by design. Your design, Stephen. Then there's the grief I carry inside my own family, the most personal and painful. I grieve a cousin I once loved, a boy I watched grow up, babysat, and shared a childhood with. The kid I made fun of for his obsession with Michael Jackson and Ghostbusters. Jesus, that's fucking weird. Like, humanizing this inhuman monster in a way is so... That's weird. The awkward, funny, needy middle child who loved to chase attention yet was always the sweetest with the littlest family members. A kid that reminded me of Alex P. Keaton, young, conservative, maybe misguided, but lovable and harmless, or so I thought. But I was so deeply wrong, and the realization that I didn't know you at all, it guts me. I grieve for what you've become, Stephen, and I grieve what I've lost because of it. I grieve your children I will never meet. I grieve the future family you've stolen from me by chasing a path so filled with cruelty that I cannot and will not be a part of it. I will never knowingly let evil into my life, no matter whose blood it carries, including my own. Base. This is from Stephen Miller's cousin. I grieve for the power you've been given and for those around you who have enabled it. I grieve for the family I once loved, who lifted me up, who helped me through life, who made me feel safe, who now leave me feeling unsettled and even afraid. I grieve the realization that maybe I never really knew these people at all. My heart breaks every day over and over. That is something. Stephen Miller is he used to be the chief of staff. What the fuck is his official title now? No, he still is deputy chief. she is real as fuck for this. I want to be so real. Stephen Miller, yeah, Alt XA23. Stephen Miller is one of Trump's main policy advisors. I would say he is the main one. He is more than Trump right now because Trump, like, all this cruel bullshit. Trump is the face of it. Trump is the figurehead of the movement. Trump is the quote-unquote charismatic leader that goes up on stage, that talks to the crowd and stuff. Stephen Miller is the mastermind of so much of this. Russell Vogt might be the mastermind of Project 2025, but Stephen Miller is the mastermind of the broader points of the kind of white ethno-nationalist project that the Trump administration is enacting. He is like Goebbels, essentially. He's effectively our president. I think he is more effectively, like, I think Stephen Miller has more of a sway over what is actually happening than Trump does right now. I would say. I don't know how far I would go into like speculating about like, oh, he's actually pulling the strings behind the scenes, but he is certainly like, he is orchestrating more things than Trump. Isn't Miller Jewish? Okay, one of the things I was talking about, or I was listening to the debate on one of Destiny's debates against Nick Fuentes, and I was taking notes on it. And Nick, being the Weasley little shit that he is, was talking about, because people were asking him, like, you know, okay, well, what's your, because he was talking about, you know, how he was against race mixing, now he wants kids that look like him. And, you know, all this other, like, just couching these white supremacist sentiments and, like, oh, well, I just want people who look blah, 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 whatever. And he admitted that his lineage, Nick Fuentes' lineage, because everybody's like, well, Fuentes, that's Mexican. His lineage is Mexican, Irish, and Italian. And it's like, he is three things that 100 years ago, people would have been like, well, you're not white at all. You're Irish and Italian. That's not really white. Like, you are specifically things that, like, the white identitarians you love so much would have fucking kicked you to the curb and beat your ass in the street over that shit. Like, people forget the Irish and the Italians were right there with the Jews. I'm not going to say they were right there with black people, because black people definitely had it worse, but, like, they were fucking openly discriminated against. They were fucking, the idea, and he was talking about how, you know, like, oh, you know, it's that, like, there's these cultural differences and that the demographics, like, some people are just more violent. And it's like, motherfucker, you're just repeating all the same shit that they were saying about Irish and Italians 100 years ago, 80 years ago. Like, it's just fucking, it's bonkers. And all of that is to say, No, just to be here, 2/3 of Nick used to not be seen as white. No, 100% of Nick used to not be seen as white. Like, Mexican, Irish, and Italians. Like, the Irish were seen as just like these horrible bog rats when they came over after the potato famine. The Italians were seen as these conniving, like, evil criminal gangsters that everywhere they went, they just spread, like, drinking and debauchery. Like, the Irish and Italians were fucking so racialized. And it's the perfect example of, like, and that, to bring this up with Stephen Miller, to tie this in, it's the perfect example of, like, okay, when America was a majority white nation, when we're talking, like, you know, a majority of the people in power, a majority of landowners, women couldn't vote, all that shit, you're talking actual all white people who could trace their lineage back a couple generations directly to fucking Europe. And they still had to find people that they were like, yeah, but they're not white. Because that's how that shit always works. There's always got to be somebody who's lesser than. And it doesn't matter your own lineage. You know, like it's like it's like liberal actually shit to be like, well, actually, don't you know Hitler was a little bit Ashkenazi, and it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they are as long as they can call somebody else lesser. Like, it doesn't matter how much of a hypocrite they are, because as long as they can go like, yeah, but I'm white. It's like, yeah, but the people using your tactics, like you are the example of how this shit just shifts goalposts over time. That there was a time when people like you were not called white. And now you are calling yourself a white identitarian and your last name is fucking Fuentes. Yeah, no, it's the Family Guy American meme. Yeah. So yeah, that all of that is to say, like Stephen Miller being part Jewish doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And also, I don't think Stephen Miller is like, he is racist against brown people, you know? Like, I think that is where any racist sentiment comes from more than like his white identity. Because it comes from that fucking, like go listen to his little Hitler Youth speech at the Charlie Kirk Memorial, where he's like, we are the builders of Western civilization. Like, he's doing all his fucking, he's doing like Western civilization statue avatar posting on Maine. And it's like, it's the same shit of like, okay, dude, yeah, you surely have like Greek lineage, but also Scandinavian lineage, because like, you know, we were the great discoverers of things, but also like we came up with philosophy in the Western world. And it's like, sure, bro, sure. Again, another thing that like all this shit just compounds over time for whatever is fucking, you know, convenient for white identitarians and white nationalism, is that this like, oh, we built the West, and you'll have motherfuckers with their stupid little, and I say stupid little as in because they do not understand it. A guy of Nordic roots. I went to a Ren fair this last weekend, in a Viking warrior kind of fit, but you know, that is different. It is different for me to go like, I think it's neat because I love history. I love learning things. I think it is neat to kind of cosplay, even briefly, the way that my ancestors lived. Because all my shit, I have a little bit of indigenous. I don't like talking about it because it sounds like Elizabeth Warren shit. I have a little bit of indigenous American identity. But most of me is Scandinavian. It's like some Scottish, German, Dutch, Scandinavian, like all up in there. Like it's why I don't really talk about the indigenous part, because like, yo, I'm fucking white, you know? But I also don't give, and this is just me, but like, I don't really care about the whole like, oh, white people built everything, because it's like, nah, my people, insofar as I identify with any kind of people or legacy or history, my people were rubbing sticks and berries together and getting high and fucking, you know, going on berserker clan raids and you know, doing all that shit. And the same people who want to be like, you know, you'll see fucking Proud Boys, and you'll see these Nazi fucks who walk around. They'll have, you know, like Norse and Valhalla imagery and all this shit. But then they'll be like, you know, talk about how, well, the West, we came up with democracy. We came up with all this stuff. And they'll have like, you know, crusader imagery, and then also like Roman imagery and like Spartan imagery, like Molen Labe and all that shit. And it's like, the Romans fucking hated the Scandinavians. They waged war against each other. They loathed each other. Likewise, the Brits hated people like the Celts, people like the Nords, the Vikings. Like, this white identity as this fucking cultural mishmash is such revisionist bullshit, and it pisses me off because it's like, dude, all of these, if you went back in time, if you took all of these little Nazi little shitheads, divided them by their primary like white heritage and put them in the group that they actually came from, they would be at each other's throats just a couple hundred years ago. Not that much time in the great span of history. But now they're just like all, no, we're all the same thing. We all make, like, fuck off. The British hate everyone, though. I mean, like, hey. The Moors built roads through Spain and Rome. Oh, thank you, Anthony Gramuglia, for 3 months. 3 months, goodness gracious. Mix of everything from Ireland and Britain with some Dutch, German, and a large heaping of Italian. Also, you could count Newfie, I guess, which kind of overlaps. Yeah. Foxadilla, I could have seen you at that Ren Fair. I mean, you might have. I posted a picture of me on socials. Yeah, exactly. Transitory. If you weren't porcelain, ivory, English, you were lesser. It pisses me off because, like, there's also there's this complete misunderstanding of racism from people who are ironically the most racist, where it's like you'll see people, Synthetic Man is a great example, who was talking about how, like, oh, the Japanese, they're importing, immigrants into their country like everybody else or whatever the fuck. And it's like Japan is a great example of white nationalist fallacies where people want to be like, oh, it's such a great country because it's, it's this one nationalist state. Dog, Japanese people are racist against other Japanese people. Ask anybody who spent a lot of time in Japan. People will be so racist against, like, Southerners, against people who come from rural communities. Like, and that's not even talking about inter-Asian racism in the Asian diaspora. And a lot of that has to do, like, especially when you get into, like, Korea, Japan, China, a lot of that has to do with, like, old war crimes and all that kind of shit. Hey, stop it. Stop it. Yeah, Fighting Hobbit can fucking confirm. Yeah. Like there are differences in skin tones depending on where in Japan somebody originates from. Like there are literally different skin tones. Some people have a slightly darker complexion. Some people have a slightly lighter complexion. And people will be racist against their own countrymen in Japan. And it's like so many fucking people are like, like, oh, there's, I don't know. It's just weeb shit at a certain point where they're just like, oh, my fucking, beautiful Japanese ethno-state. And it's like, nah, dude, it's another example of shit you don't fucking understand, where even within this, perfectly what you think is this homogenized, racialized group, people are still finding reasons to be like, nah, this dude sucks. Why? Because they're a slightly darker shade of skin than me. That's it. Anyway, let's finish reading about Stephen Miller. Thank you very much, Stella. Have a good one. Sleep well. I grieve for those directly harmed by your actions, for the communities here in LA, our shared home, for all of California and the rest of the country terrorized by the cruelty you have brought upon us all. I grieve for the family shattered by cruelty dressed up as immigration policy, targeting hardworking, vibrant community members who are being terrorized for simply being brown. This was never about criminals or illegal entry, and now, with the passing of this bloated, grotesque bill stuffed with more funding for ICE than most countries spend on their entire military, I'm left speechless. Where does this hateful obsession end? What are you trying to build besides fear? Immigrants were part of your upbringing. Is this cruelty your way of rejecting a part of yourself? Fucking yeah, probably. Um, uh, Melting Mug, are you talking about the extraneous? It's called Silent Hill F, lowercase f. I think that, unless I added two F's. Snork. Me, 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 me. Hello, baby. Hello, baby. My dog is just staring up at me with ball in her mouth. She go, I need to get a lady cam so much. People always ask me what happened to you. I don't have a clear answer. I can only surmise it was a perfect storm of ego, fear, hate, and ambition, all of it mangled into something cruel and hollow, masquerading as strength. You were born into privilege, safety, and wealth. Somehow you've weaponized all of it. I didn't see the descent until it was too late, and now I'm left with guilt and shame. Could I have done something? My sister recently asked me, if social media had existed back then, we'd have seen the horrific videos of you in high school. Would we have spoken up? Would we have intervened? Yes, we absolutely would have. I grieve that we never really got the chance. So for those people who don't know, and there's a video that circulates every now and again of him, you know, running for like class officer stuff, but just being a fucking shit. First off, he's always looked like he was 45, which is crazy work. Thank you, Days3X, for subscribing. How old is Stephen Miller? I think he's in his 40s now. In his 40s. Yeah, I know he is exactly 40 years old. God damn. But no, he's always looked like that, which is fucking crazy. Yeah. Queen Tara of R. Christ, thank you very much for following. Or say hi. Melting Mug, you're good. You're good. And here's where it hurts even more. We were raised Jewish. You and I both know what that means. We were raised with stories of survival. We learned about pogroms, ghettos, and the Holocaust, not just its history, but part of our identity. We carried the trauma of generations who were hunted, hated, expelled, murdered just for existing. We were taught to remember. We celebrated holidays each year with a reminder to stand up and say never again. But what you are doing breaks that sacred promise. It breaks everything we were taught. How can you do to others what has been done to us? How can you wake up each day and repeat the cruelty that our people barely escaped from? We were taught to never forget where we came from, but you seem to have erased it all, and it devastates me. To be this close to the cruelty through you has left me ashamed and shattered. I will try to fight your harm in any way I can, but it will never be enough. I can't undo what you've done or what you have become. I can't outmatch your reach or power. I feel helpless. The panic attacks haven't stopped since the grief cracked open. The tears won't stop, and the weight on my chest is constant. This isn't about politics. It's about humanity, about decency, and you have lost yours. You've destroyed so many lives just to feed your own obsession and ego and uphold an administration so corrupt I can barely comprehend it. As surreal as it all feels, this is reality. As much as I try to dissociate from it, the truth remains. Being this close to some deep cruelty fills me with shame. I am gutted. My heart breaks that this is the legacy you've brought to our family, a legacy I never asked to share with you, and now I carry like a curse. Damn. Damn. He wasn't the one who punched Elon. That was Scott Bessent, I think, if I'm remembering. Yeah, it was Scott. God, I I hate having just all this fucking, just all these shitheads just up here all the time. Who wrote this? This was Stephen Miller's cousin. Your boy John Doe. I thought it was Elon's kid. It low-key very fucking funny that he was like, he tried to pass that shit off. He was like, no, dude, it was a little X. Ha ha ha. Fuck off. Fuck you. All right, we've got so much shit to talk about. Yeah, let's talk about conversion therapy. We'll get to the lynching stuff. Yeah, we need to talk about the crackdown on free speech. You know what? Let's talk about the lynchings really quick. So a couple weeks ago, there was the story of a young black man who was found hanging from a tree at the University of Mississippi. And we'll talk about that in a second, because recently, or actually, no, this isn't recent. The news is just coming out now because the police have been very suspiciously hiding this shit. Family of Javon Given demands answers after black Kansas City man found hanged in New Mexico. Originally from Kansas City, he was found hanged in New Mexico. Police hid his death for over a year, cremated his body before even notifying his family, and called it a suicide. His family is demanding a full investigation. September 17th, Javon Maurice Given was found hanging by a metal chain from a commercial building in Corrales, New Mexico. He was 29. The police department ruled his death a suicide and cremated his body before his family even knew he was dead. For 384 days, no one told his family what happened. It wasn't until October 1st, 2025, over a year, that his cousin Jada Walker from Kansas City filed a missing persons report in Albuquerque and discovered the police had been sitting on his case file the entire time. Virtually no investigation, no autopsy, no notification, just a 2-page incident report classifying a black man found hanging in public as suicide and a body turned to ash before anyone who loved him could say goodbye. Now, again, we just talked about identity, and it goes without saying that I am melanatedly challenged, let's say. But to a lot of white people, I think, and even you know, the good old well-intentioned liberals, would look at something like this and be like, nah. It's, you know, like, there's got to be something, like, there's got to be some explanation here. This, you know, let's not jump to conspiracy. But if you are a black person in America, you come up under a different set of rules and different understandings of what structures and power mean to you generally. Generally. This isn't true for everybody, but for a lot of people in black communities, it's understood that structures, people like the police, people like politicians, don't actually have your best interests in mind. This is aside from the constant fear that black people have to face from police violence, police brutality, that, as we've seen, not only often goes completely unchecked and unpunished, but is now, in our current economy, or current situation, being given a free ride, being almost encouraged, if you will. So, Add to that, in the last couple years, there have been a number of, let's say, suspicious disappearances. There were, around the George Floyd protests, there were prominent protesters who were found burned alive in cars. There were protest leaders who would be found dead. Police knew who these people were, knew where to find them, and knew how to shut down investigations into their deaths and disappearances. Take from that what you will. We combine that with the knowledge that inner police force gangs are nationwide. There are still police gangs running in LA, running in New York. Take from that what you will. So when I see something like this, I have no doubt in my mind that this was some kind of cover-up. Because we have seen too many things like this happen before that are just too fucking convenient for structures of power that are supposed to be not only transparent, but be able to be held accountable. And when there's no accountability to be had, when there's supposedly no questions left to ask, I think that leads us to where his family is probably right now, where you just have to ask even more questions. The biggest one being, why? Your boy John Doe, thank you very much for linking that tradition of violence LASD gang history. Quote, this is not negligence, and it's not a rumor like we've heard people online say. This is a cover-up. Organizers from Building Power for Black New Mexico, Millions for Prisoners New Mexico, Albuquerque Save the Kids, and Southwest Solidarity Network told the Defender in a statement ahead of an emergency press conference on October 6th. Defender has obtained full police reports, and what they reveal is a department that never intended... Hey, shush. What they reveal is a department that never intended to investigate Javon Gibbons' death meaningfully at all. Jada told the Defender she grew up with Javon and they even lived together at many points. She told the Defender the last time her family heard from him was August 28th, 20 days before police say he died. Like, that's crazy. Look. One of the challenging lines I have to walk as an independent journalist and a streamer is that I generally cannot speculate without some kind of proof. It's irresponsible of me to always say what I'm thinking, even though that's technically why people come here, because they, for whatever reason, enjoy hanging out with me, enjoy my commentary, whatever. But saying that, prefacing that for what I'm about to say next, to me, just from these facts, that sounds like torture. Somebody is missing for 20 days. Body is burned before it can be identified. Or no, it's already identified. Body's burned before it can be examined, autopsied at all. That sounds like making sure there's no way to tell shit. He reached out to everybody for money on the same day. More than 20 people said that Javon contacted them. Everyone said the same thing. It seemed like he was running from something. Fuck. He moved to Albuquerque just weeks earlier, looking for a fresh start after the death of their grandmother in 2020. He was staying at the St. Elizabeth shelter, had gotten jobs at Dollar Tree and a gas station, and was rebuilding his wife. Walker said he even had a girlfriend who was pregnant. When I say he loved life, he loved life. This is not a suicidal person. Nothing about him comes across as suicidal. It's raising red flags with all our family members because we know who he is. The police never asked the family about his state of mind. They never asked about the frantic calls for money. They never asked why a man who loved life would hang himself in public 20 days later. They just closed the case. The Albuquerque Police Department's incident report, obtained by the defender, tells a story of bureaucratic indifference masquerading as investigation. According to the primary report filed by Officer Homero Alvarez, on September 7, 2024, an employee at Corrales Road Northwest called 911 after discovering Javon's body hanging in front of the listed property. The synopsis states a listed male was found deceased in front of the listed property by an employee who works at the property, was found to have committed suicide by hanging himself. Found by who? The narrative continues. The male was found to have been hanging for a few hours. AFD rescue also responded the location did not attempt life-saving measures since he was beyond help. Alvidrez notes that a crime scene investigator, along with an investigator with the Office of the Medical Investigator, responded and examined on the scene. The field investigator supplement filed 3 days later provides slightly more detail. Miller describes Javon as, quote, fully clothed to include shoes, and notes he had used a metal chain with a carbiner to hang himself. The carbiner was attached to an eye hook that was already in place on the top of the pillar. That's suspicious as fuck. Miller's report states that the OMI investigator, quote, pronounced time of death at 11:24 hours, and that OMI later transported Javon to their facility until a kin was located. But no kin was located, or rather no kin was sought. The reports make no mention of any attempt to contact his family in Kansas. The only person listed in the relationships addendum is Martin Ulola, whose relationship to Javon is marked unknown. Walker says the detective who finally called her family on October 1st, Lorenzo Apicata, provided almost no information and then refused to return their calls. Fuck, man. I can't even fucking imagine that. Imagine not knowing where your family member is for for a year. Really. August, September. No one told his family. Over a year. Over a year. Like, imagine getting a call over a year later and then not getting any other fucking information. He asked us for the correct spelling of Javon's name. I guess they had him under a JVR. The middle name was misspelled. Then he told us somebody would be contacting us. A detective called 2 hours later and gave us the bad news. Fucking God. When the family asked basic questions, was there an autopsy? What evidence was collected? Can we see photos to identify him? The detective was evasive. He just said that his body was cremated and that we could get the police report online. Never gave us any details. He never said, I'm going to be sending you over some photos so you can identify him. My cousin was literally identified from the name, only name, and birthday. In light of Javon's horrifying death, organizing groups pulling together Monday's emergency press conference did not mince words in a statement. Quote, the department concealed the lynching of a black man for over a year and had the audacity to label it a suicide. We reject that narrative outright. Black people do not hang themselves in public in America. We know this because the history is written in blood. From Reconstruction to Jim Crow to right now, police and coroners have covered up racial terror by calling it self-inflicted. These are not isolated incidents. They are continuations of state-sanctioned violence. Give me 1 second, chat. give me a second. Really quick. I just gotta answer a thing. Okay. God. The group points to a disturbing national pattern. Across the country, multiple black men have been found dead by hanging in recent weeks. Each case quickly ruled a suicide before any meaningful investigation. Just weeks before Javon's case came to light, DeMartravion Trey Reed, a black student at Delta State University in Mississippi, was found hanged. Authorities there also quickly ruled it a suicide despite questions from his community. Quote, This sophisticated machinery of racial terror is just a fascist strategy that relies on overwhelming force from multiple directions, including misinformation, intimidation, and threats. Terry Wilson, the founder of the Idaho chapter of the Black Lives Matter grassroots chapter, told the Chicago Crusader in a statement about the Trey Reed case. I think we're witnessing a coordinated campaign of disappearances, lynchings, and state-sanctioned killings that target black, brown, and indigenous communities. I don't know how coordinated it is, unless to say that it is simply coordinated because it is like state-sanctioned violence, which I think is true. Kyun-kun, thank you. My hair is going to be silver before long. Like, I don't, if you compare this already to, like how it was, and it actually kind of looks more silver, how it was the last couple streams where it was a lot more blue. But whatever. Yeah, it's neither here nor there. Sorry. He continued, we need to address this method of lynchings by suicide, which is their way to rationalize, from a medical standpoint, their feelings. I think this is a sort of death rattle for white supremacy because they're relying on almost every structural institution in order to justify or cover up in the actions of folks. The organizers on the ground in Albuquerque's demands are clear and uncompromising. An immediate, independent investigation into the death of Javon Given, full public release of all evidence, photos, and body cam footage, accountability for every officer and official who concealed, delayed, or distorted the facts, a public acknowledgement from city and state leadership that anti-black violence is alive and that silence is complicity. The evidence APD won't release to the public. According to the police reports, critical evidence exists that has never been made public. 39 photographs taken at the scene and held as evidence. A journal, body camera footage from Alvidrez, confirmed in the report as yes. Video footage available, evidence.com. What the fuck does that mean? OMI examination notes that have not been released. The field investigator report notes that Officer A. Torres collected metal chain / carabiner and a journal and pair of eyeglasses. All of these items remain in police custody. The OMI investigator also uploaded 39 photographs into evidence.com. Evidence.com is so fucking funny. Like of all this stuff is like, that's crazy. Well, it's going to get more silvery, which is actually great for me because I want to go back to blonde relatively soon. Yeah. Was a well-documented history of vicious brutality, cover-ups, and constitutional violations. In 2014, the Department of Justice found a pattern of unconstitutional use of deadly force. The city entered into a consent decree requiring reforms that are ongoing more than a decade later. Fucking shocker for another misanthropic off-topic. Did you know Synthetic Man had some dirty videos leaked involving him enjoying himself? So, regrettably, I watched the video. Well, okay, watched is a strong term. I saw somebody linked it to me on Twitter. Because I was like, what? Huh? Somebody asked, had I seen the leaked synth video, or something to that effect, and I was like, no. And somebody linked it to me, and I watched it for about a half second, and I was like, oh, no thank you. I'm good. And so I don't want to say that I looked at it with any degree of investigation to be like, yes, no, this is definitely him. But I don't think it was him. Like, and I've seen other people talking about it and being like, no, actually, this isn't his apartment. This isn't this. It's like, I don't think it's him. However, very funny how much it looks like him. Very funny. And Streets are saying that he, like, I don't know, I don't know if it was on Twitter or wherever, but made a like a big post about it. Why leak such a thing? I don't know. Also, I don't think he fucking, like, he just doesn't seem like he's terminally online. Like, he doesn't do anything with anybody, you know? Like, I don't, whatever. All that to say, I don't think that's him. Very funny how much it pisses him off, though. Like, that is very funny. But I don't think that's really him. Excuse me. Does anybody have a link to this article? Just go to kansascitydefender.com and look up Javon Given. This case reveals how that culture of impunity extends to death investigation. When a black man is found hanged, the default assumption is suicide. The investigation, if you can even call it that, seems designed to confirm the assumption, not test it. And honestly, so the writer is correct that when a black man is found hanged, the default assumption is suicide. From, like, I think from the police and credulous media, like local media usually, which, like, by the way, people don't get this. I worked in local media for a couple years. I worked for one of the local TV stations, the NBC affiliate. Local news is so beholden to local police. And it's such a massive fucking problem because, like, news connections and most local news is hanging on by a fucking thread. It is so hard for them to buy ad packages. It's so hard for them to sell space. And they are constantly trying to evolve and, adopt these, like, new marketing strategies and new, business strategies for the evolving news market when more and more people are just getting their misinformation from Twitter and news from Facebook and all this other shit, right? But part of that lifeline that they are just hanging on to is that they need the inside track on whatever happens, and the police are usually the ones to give it to them. Which means that if there are issues with police impropriety, police abuse, embezzling funds, if any of that shit comes to light, it's not from local news organizations because they literally cannot risk losing those connections. It's so fucked. It's so fucked. Yeah. Kiri Ganwa, we're probably going to talk about LA News is straight up propaganda. Yeah. Because again, also, they need to, like, steer clear. Like, LA would be fucking scary to be on a police beat in LA. You say some shit, like, you'll get disappeared in LA. Like, any big city, LA, New York, I wouldn't fuck with those cops. Like, straight up. I mean, I did fuck with those cops. I was in the LA protest, but I wouldn't fuck with those cops alone in a dark alley. Certainly not as a journalist when they know my name. That's fucking crazy. Yeah, Chicago PD operates black sites. I fucking guarantee LAPD does too. NYPD for sure. But to go back to what I was saying, when a black man is found hanged, the default assumption is suicide. I think that is a failure of an assumption for anybody to make. Like, I think most rational people, if you hear a black person is hanged, the default assumption is assault. The default assumption is targeted crime, a hate crime. Yeah, or suddenly they don't answer calls in your neighborhood. No, I mean, that shit happens too. Like, oops, oh, we just sent somebody. Like the idea that cops are these steadfast, like, you know, upholders of the law and righteous virtue and stuff is such bullshit. And especially when you give these people who run in literal gangs, you are not only giving them, like, the power and authority over who lives and dies on a whim, over information to local news groups, but then you also give them access to, like, knowing who, for example, what violent offenders are out on parole. What violent offenders, quote unquote violent offenders, people who have gone to jail for armed robbery, for assault, don't want to go back. And you can say, oh, okay, well, hey, we need a problem taken care of. And we can say, nobody in this area is going to respond to a 911 call. And if you don't want to go back in jail, maybe we'll tell your officer you didn't violate parole. Or maybe we will if you don't go to this place and do a thing for us. Like, it's the level of insane shit, the level of corruption in American policing is fucking crazy. Like, it is a deep, dark well of horrors that, like, the shit that most people haven't heard about, because, like, journalists will get disappeared because shit will get shut down by local news outlets before it comes out. There were no interviews. God damn. Yeah. No interviews with shelter staff who saw Javon in his final weeks. No canvassing of the commercial area. No analysis of his phone records or financial transactions. No outreach to families. Just a classification of cremation and a case filed away. The officer's report even misspelled his middle name, a detail so fundamental that its error speaks to the level of care applied to this investigation. For Jada Walker and Javon's family, the cremation feels like a final violation. The destruction of evidence, the elimination of any possibility that an independent pathologist might examine his body and reach a different conclusion. I don't care. Yeah, no. She is clear about what she wants now. I don't care who's uncomfortable. I don't care. I just want justice for my cousin. That's fucking real. Organizers were gathered outside the police department. Press conference convened by Building Power for Black New Mexico. Millions of prisoners, New Mexico. Albuquerque Save the Kids and Southwest Solidarity Network will call for an immediate independent investigation. That was yesterday. Defender will continue investigating this case and pushing for the release of all evidence. We will not let Javon Given become another name buried in closed case file. Another black man whose suspicious death is explained away as a suicide by a police department with no interest in the truth. Now, that was a year ago, right? This is from BET. This was yesterday. Talking about an update to Trey Reed's death in the Mississippi University, which Colin Kaepernick, when this made national headlines, Colin Kaepernick, I believe, funded the autopsy for the family, because the family wanted to get what the last article was just talking about, an independent pathologist to do their own autopsy. Misinformation spreads as Trey Reed's family waits for second autopsy results. Despite speculation online, the autopsy has not been made public, according to the Clarion Ledger. Reed was found dead on September 15th. Investigators said early that his death was a suicide. Rumors about his death quickly spread online, with some people incorrectly connecting his case to another man, Corey Zukatis, who was found also hanging the same day in Vicksburg. Police say the deaths were not related. Zukatis' death was ruled a suicide. We talked about this. Zukatis, so it became, we talked about this when it happened. It became like a really quickly spreading thing of like, oh my gosh, 2 black men were lynched in Mississippi. And it wasn't that, because Zukatis is very clearly, I think, actually a suicide. Somebody who was deeply troubled by all accounts, somebody who had been living on the street for a while, somebody who is also notably not black, who was found alone in a forest. Like, everything kind of points to actually suicide with that person. However, everything with Reed's autopsy was, I wanted to circle back to this because it ticks a lot of the same alarm bells of what we were just talking about, right? Reed's family has questions and hired lawyers to conduct a private investigation. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump's team arranged for Colin Kaepernick, Know Your Rights Camp Autopsy Initiative, to fund an independent autopsy led by Dr. Matthias Okoye of Nebraska. The Crump team said to the Clarion Ledger on October 2nd, the final report hasn't been finalized. No details will be released until it was. Online speculation increased after Crystal Muhammad of the New Black Panther Party claimed during the Willie D. Live podcast she had spoken with Reed's mother about the second autopsy. The second autopsy has not yet been released, and the outlet reportedly could not confirm Muhammad's statements. Authorities said Reed's death showed, quote, no evidence to suggest the individual was physically attacked before his death. They also denied claims he had broken bones or other injuries. So it came out. I wish they had talked about... Is that just going to lead me to the Willie D. Live podcast? Yeah, here we go.
21-year-old black student at Delta State University in Cleveland, Mississippi, was found hanging from a tree on campus. Local authorities, including the medical examiner, was quick, I mean super quick, to rule his death a suicide. But the family was not buying it. With the help of Colin Kaepernick and his organization, Know Your Rights Camp Autopsy Initiative, I broke the news earlier today with Crystal Muhammad of the New Black Panther Party on my Willie D. Live channel that the autopsy revealed Trey had a fractured skull in the back of his head. He had contusions. He had bruises on his back and buttocks, meaning that they stomped him, fam. They didn't just bust him in the back of the head and kill him. They stomped him. Now, you got a lot of uncivilized mutts out there who are mad at Colin Kaepernick, even more mad at him because they were mad at him when they first heard the news announced that he would pay for the autopsy. They were saying things like, because the investigation, the official investigation, had already ruled the death a suicide, that Colin Kaepernick should just leave it alone. The critics argued that Colin inserted himself into the case for publicity, suggesting that his involvement was...
That's such bullshit. Colin Kaepernick, of all people, has shown time and time again that he lives that shit. He is about the shit he says. Like, the man risked his entire fucking career, a promising and good career, taking a knee, and got nothing but fucking backlash. Like, get the fuck out of here. Not Willie D, but like, get the fuck out of here with people being like, oh, he's just doing it for fucking attention, for publicity. Yeah, he's helping people pay for an autopsy for publicity. Get the fuck out of here. I don't have time for that shit.
It was an inflammatory move that cast undue suspicion on an official ruling. Now, why would we have undue suspicion on an official ruling? I mean, our elected officials and law enforcement and all these people, they're so honest.
Yeah, like that's a like what we just talked about. You're going to like that's an entirely different incident that happened over a year ago now, across the country from this. I guess across Texas from this, as this was Mississippi, that was New Mexico. But it still speaks to the institutional risks and support of, if not violence against people of color, violence against people from communities that don't have the material wealth, the material ability to push back. If not that, then you simply must acknowledge that it at least speaks to the lack of care granted to black communities, which is in and of itself dehumanizing. It is yet another way people of color, black people, particularly in America, are dehumanized, particularly by police and the police establishment. That's irrefutable. Looking simply at the last case we just looked at. So when you have this, and mind you, this is another one of those things. This is another one of those things that, like, white people, when you get, woke, to borrow a term from AAVE, or when you decide to listen to, because it's not something that is ingrained in white communities the way it is in black or Latino communities, in any community of color, really. This distrust of police, because incidents like this have happened since the founding of this country. The stories have been passed down through families, from parents to children, through cousins, through grandchildren. My mom had this happen to them. My dad had this happen. My cousin had this happen. These things are far more understood by people of color and those communities because this shit has been happening to them. And for decades and decades and decades and decades, nobody fucking listened. And even now, like, we had the Black Lives Matter protests, and thank you, fucking Democrats, for doing nothing to actually defund the police, to do nothing to actually cause police reform. Because this shit still fucking happens. And if there's a reason, if you look at, because, some outrage merchant like fucking Matt Walsh would look at something like this and be like, well, of course, because they think everything must go back to being racist, and they think all police are racist, and of course this is ridiculous, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you know nothing about it. If you lived your entire life in a community that had to live in the shadow of incidents like this, where stuff like this was common fucking knowledge, and that was the reality you lived in, you wouldn't hear a police report and be like, yeah, I trust that. That sounds trustworthy. And I think that is so important to understanding, especially as a white person, which I know there's many of you in my audience, or especially as somebody from outside of these communities, whatever form that takes, to understanding why so many black people react the way they do to hearing these stories. Johnny Viral, I'm 36 and white passing Hispanic. I still get the talk about not speaking in Spanish too much. I want to recommend the animatic punk-ass pirate donkey. I always found it cool, but now I know it has some truth to it and badassery. It might be cathartic for people who are sick of this bullshit. I'll have to check that out. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, no, Lil Almonds for it's crazy that right-wing people will simultaneously be the most conspiratorial person you know and dismiss any doubt surrounding initial autopsies, etc. It's hard to see it as anything other than wild ignorance or genuine disdain for those affected. I think it's genuine disdain. I think it depends on the person. I think there are probably, maybe not liberal, but maybe conservative-leaning white people who would look at something like this and be like, it's just conspiracy. But if you sat down, they're the kind of white person you could probably sit down and explain, like, especially if it's coming from a black person, a black perspective, and you sat down, mano a mano, you said, okay, no, here's my experience. Let me tell you what I grew up with. Let me tell you what I've seen, what I've experienced, why people like me react like this. And you can probably get them to understand and empathize more. Because at the end of the day, and this is the thing that I get pissed off. I had some jackass the other day. God, there was a fucking heart-wrenching video going around of a veteran who was having fucking breakdowns because he had PTSD and he couldn't get any care. He couldn't get any providers. Like, he kept getting shuffled around because of the fucking dog shit healthcare this country gives veterans. And I retweeted saying something like, this is the prime beef that the Democrats should be going after. Like, this is the demographic that people look at and go like, oh, well, they're Trump voters. It's a big burly dude with a beard and former military. He's got, he's got like tactical, company gear on, probably goes to the range. And people look at it and they're like, yeah, that's like a Trump voter. And it's like, no, he's being betrayed by Trump. Like, this is the time in which if you want to really stick up for somebody, this is who you stick up for. And I had somebody fucking be like, oh, well, this people, they just want to fucking, stupid. They called me a liberal. Because they're like, this person would kill you and everybody like you. It's like, no, you fucking moron. Like, at the end of the day, and this is why people are so like, I don't understand how people could vote for both Trump and Biden, is that like, most people just want their shit taken care of. Most people just want whatever they think will make their life easiest. And that means most people can also be explained in rational, reasonable terms. And I'm not talking about, people like Matt Walsh, people like talking heads who have a vested interest. I'm not talking about like the Charlie Kirks of the world who have a material interest in pushing conservatism. I am talking about the people they often sell their bullshit to. Because those people hear what people like Alex Jones, Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, Tucker Carlson, they hear what they say and they're like, well, I don't want that bad thing to happen to me. Or I do want this good thing to happen to me. So yeah, I am going to vote for Trump. Yeah, I do believe this. Yeah, I don't want, immigrants come here taking my jobs. But that's because they are being sold one version of reality. And we all come from, and this goes back into what I was just saying about like white people don't know what black people go through, the stories that are passed down, the differences in culture. And that's a different reality. But the beauty of communication, the beauty of this cultural melting pot is that you can explain your reality to somebody else. And they can empathize with that. And that is how you create that understanding. This is why when I see a big, burly, white veteran breaking down and fucking crying and sobbing and shaking because he is having PT fucking SD flashbacks, my first thought isn't this bullshit. I hate it. Oh, I hate it. Oh, it pisses me off so fucking much to see people on the left be like, well, that's what you get for voting for Trump. You get what you deserve. Like those motherfuckers who, when those Texas floods were killing kids, and there were people being like, well, I guess that'll teach Texas not to. Shut the fuck up. Like, you are abdicating your humanity for fucking Twitter dunks. What is fucking wrong with you? I hate that shit so much. Because that is the time at which you reach out to somebody who needs a helping hand. If you really believe in that shit, if you really want to be about that life, if you really believe in progress, not just for yourself, but for everybody, You do not kick people when they're fucking down. You help raise everybody you can up. Mopo, be kind to people, be ruthless to systems. Thank you. Thank you. God, that's so fucking real. Yeah. Jem Williams, our society is structured to make people believe that there are no alternatives, that this is as good as it gets. Knowledge is gatekept from us. So one of the things I was listening to, again, another fucking Destiny debate, and it was one he did, and Pixie was there, and Pixie was talking about, loving the free market or whatever the fuck, and she's a lib, or at least was at the time, which was like 5 years ago. I don't know much about Pixie except for some of the Destiny stuff. And she was talking about how, like, she likes, corporations that push a progressive agenda. And somebody's like, oh, you like corporations? She's like, yeah, I think as long as corporations are pushing a positive agenda and they're a good force for society, like, I don't have a problem with corporations. And I'm just like, I literally, like, rubbed my temples hearing that, because I'm like, fucking. There were two black people on the panel who were like, what? And it got me there, like, very similarly to these kind of things that black people of color, communities of color have more experience with, and that's systemic violence in the forms it takes. And you talk to an affluent, up and coming white liberal woman, and they're like, yeah, well, as long as this thing is pro-gay, or as long as they're like, I think everybody should be able to do this and like that and the other. But they don't understand the systemic consequences or the ripple effects they have. Whereas, again, you look at black communities over time. How many black communities in America have had their culture, their music, their art, their people spat up and chewed up and spat out by corporations, by corporate America? And are they better off for it? How many black communities have been exploited, left to rot in the shadow of massive factories? There's one happening right now with fucking Elon Musk's giant it's all the fucking AI facilities run together. Facebook's facility. Did the place with the pipes that Elon was like, oh yeah, no, we'll get you new pipes, haha. And it's like, again, I saw this recognition in the two black people on the panel being like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because this is somebody who has never had those material effects. Somebody who probably comes from a much more affluent upbringing, who has never had to question, hey, is this company just stealing from my culture, stealing from people like me? Do they just see me as another target to advertise to? That is like the comfortability of the particularly white liberal class. Yeah, Flint, Michigan. Yeah. Memphis is grok. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Shit is very frustrating, because we have so much that we can learn from one another, and people would rather bury their heads in the sand. Like you can make your own reality, your life, your perception of everything around you, the way you see the world, can be so much richer than it is right now. And I would say most of everything that has made my world richer, most of everything that has made my perception of things around me deeper and given me a better understanding of how things work together, has come from just fucking listening to people, listening to different experiences, people from different backgrounds, people from different opinions, even if I don't fucking agree with them. And it's so frustrating to see so many people want to, like, not even try that. The sand is so comfy. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, companies using AAVE wrongly to appeal to Gen Z. Fuck. Yeah. I mean, like, hey, there was, fucking Eminem on White America, and whenever that track came out, like, he summed up pretty correctly how a bunch of fucking white suburban kids were suddenly into gangster rap. And it wasn't just that, all these white suburban kids suddenly developed a interest in black politics, or, what life was really like in these communities that a lot of the gangster rap at the time was coming out of. It's because it was fucking marketed to them. It's because for so much of white America, it was exoticized in a very real way. That this was the cool thing to be listening to. This was awesome. This was, like, edgy, and this will piss off your parents, and like that kind of shit. And M was completely cognizant of it. We talked about that before. And it's just like, I don't know. I had a weird crash out at a friend's the other night because I was like, I don't know, I was in a bad mood already, and I had been forced to listen to Taylor Swift, which few things will piss me off and put me in a shitty mood as much as listening to Taylor. I'm so for real. Like, someone I truly think has done irreparable damage to, like, structures of media, and one of the I would say Taylor Swift is, like, unironically one of the four horsemen of, like, the decline of modern civilization. I'm not even joking. Like, I would put her right next to, like, Mr. Beast and Trump. And it got in my craw, just the way algorithms, the way that she's bought out multiple fucking outlets, bought out, like, explicitly, very obviously bought out or made marketing deals with, like, the iTunes Twitter account. Rolling Stone has a full fucking website takeover of her shit. Like, motherfucking Rolling Stone was like, we've updated our list of the best Taylor Swift songs. And when you look at, like, the tweet they put out of that, you're like, okay, like, maybe top 10 songs or whatever. And they're talking like, we put this one at number 200. And I'm like, huh? Fuck off. Jesus Christ. And it's like, I so deeply loathe like personal loathing aside, the shit that she's done, whatever. I'm not going to talk about Taylor Swift. I'll go on for hours. But it got in my craw how much of shit, and this goes back to the nostalgia video I did, where it's all fucking advertising. It all is just one big snake eating its fucking tail, and it just drives me crazy. I would say teal, honestly, instead of Musk suffix. Musk is terrible. Like, Elon Musk is so hard. Like, he's so cringe. He's such a shithead. But Peter Thiel is a legitimate, like, might be, if there is Satan as a entity in the universe, it might be Peter Thiel. Yeah. Taylor Swift video when? I mean, like, I'm making a video on Destiny, so I've pissed off hate churches, I've pissed off conservatives, I've pissed off Kiwi farms, I've pissed off internet Nazis. Who wants to come at me next? Taylor Swift fans or Destiny fans? Huh? Anyway, let's finish watching this real quick.
Why would anybody ever doubt them? Yeah, fam. Some of them accuse Colin Kaepernick of paying for the autopsy to stay relevant. It's Colin Kaepernick. He's in the history books. He's going to always be relevant, whether you like it or not, you uncivilized mutts. Yeah. See, what they're really mad about, fam, is that they couldn't just sweep that under the rug. Like, yeah, kill another black, hang another black, just sweep it under the rug. What are you poking around for, man? Leave us alone. Go back to the big city. Yeah. They also said that he was just trying to create controversy. Also, they said that he was fueling racial tensions. The critics argued that Colin Kaepernick's high-profile involvement and the history of racial violence in Mississippi would unnecessarily stoke racial tensions by suggesting a cover-up where authorities found...
Again, I call bullshit. Like, anybody who understands the communities and what they've been through, it's inherently suspicious. It's inherently suspicious. The circumstances are fucking weird. You see a black person in Mississippi found dead and hanging, and they don't want the family to investigate on their own? They don't do a second opinion for an autopsy? Somebody comes out who says that they've talked to the mom. Now, granted, we just read the BET article that this hasn't been officially verified. So, kind of a grain of salt. I will be keeping up with the story as it continues to come out. But like the idea that people would look at this and be like, well, obviously this is an open shut case. Like, fucking what? Huh? Crazy. Crazy. All right, chat. How's everybody feeling? Oh, $5 from Mackenzie. Oh, thank you very much. I don't think Peter Thiel will live any more than 2 to 3 years. He reminds me of Ultimate Warrior in 2014 with his profuse sweating and shiny skin. Yeah, he's so like, look. A lot of billionaires are weird looking. I think there is I don't know. I think there's a look of detachment when you achieve a certain level of immorality that, like, I think you have to be a billionaire. Like, you have to, like, you know, and I don't want to sound like Alex Jones, where it's like, and you know, they make them do these rituals where they'll cut open the babies and like none of that adrenochrome shit. But I think there is like a unspoken relinquishing of, you know, a part of humanity, right? Like you have to see yourself as something greater than and above other people, just by nature of the fact that you have more fucking money. But Peter Thiel is far more strange than almost any other one to me. Really quick, thank you very much, Johnny Viral, for posting that over on YouTube. Like I said, we just had to get my partner and I a new phone and phone plan, and my cat is... I think she's doing okay, but I do need some money for food because since she lost her teeth, she's been going through more food. Yeah, we'll talk about the conversion therapy thing real quick. But thank you very much, Johnny Viral, for popping in the chat ads. If you would like to help me with any of these costs, as well as the cost to just live day to day as I continue doing these deep dive research pieces, continue streaming, just doing all the work, it would be super appreciated. Yeah, those expenses are fucking... It's very frustrating how it, like, every time we're like, okay, no, let's put this aside. Let's save this. We have this little bit. Let's, you know, be able to pay off our debt and we're trying to fucking move in 6 to 8 months. And it's just, it never stops. You know, it never stops. When it rains, it pours. But if you would like to help out, Ko-Fi is very... appreciated. Also, I do take Venmo or Cash App. And yeah, anyway, I love. Oh, I love Immortal Technique. Who's saying Immortal Technique? T-Mass and whoever did the Dance with the Devil rap song. That was more poem than rap in 2010, yeah. And if y'all like Immortal Technique, another group, or I guess it's like a duo y'all should check out is Native Guns. Native Guns whips. I mean, I think they only have one album. Native Guns is great. I might have an inside track on a new PC though. I don't want to be. Oh, motherfucker! All right, how do I get around this? Sage Francis. Yep, Sage Francis is another one I really dig. Good night, Johnny Viral. .12foot.io. Right, let's try. Oh wait, no, that's not the one. Nope, not that. Oh, cool. All right. There we go. Fuck you. So oh, I'm not pirating anything. I'm just looking. I'm just perusing. I'm just browsing. Colorado and 20. So highlights of the conversion therapy argument at the Supreme Court. Colorado and over 20 states have banned the practice aimed at changing the sexual orientation or gender identity of young people. Here we go. The Supreme Court's conservative majority on Tuesday. Is it not going to fucking show more? All right, where's option one? Let's go to option one. All right, let's do option two. You know what? I'm just going to fuck New York Times. There we go. Here we go. From CNN. Conservative majority prepared to rule against conversion therapy ban, updated 9 hours ago. A majority of the Supreme Court signaled Tuesday is prepared to rule against Colorado's ban on conversion therapy. Several justices indicating they sympathize with a licensed counselor who says the law violates her First Amendment rights. So fucking vile. Thank you, Montana Schmidbauer. That was my Ko-Fi. The one that's linked is mine. So if you want to donate, help me and my partner be able to pay bills and also get some food going for tonight. We do need to eat. The Ko-Fi linked, and I believe it is tagged in chat, is very appreciated. Could still use a couple bucks. In one of the most significant cases the High Court will address this year, the justices were asked to decide if states may ban the discredited practice which purports to convert gay people to heterosexuality or trans people to cisgender. The outcome could have sweeping implications. Advocacy groups say roughly half of U.S. states have banned the therapy for minors. So the reason that conversion therapy was banned is because it is quite literally psychological torture that is inflicted on usually children. And what this, I think why they're trying to re-examine it is because of the way trans people are being currently targeted. It gives them a leg up to point and say, hey, we can stop your kid from becoming trans. We can stop your kid from getting the social contagion. Also, yeah, my headset is fucked and I need to get a new one, I've noticed. Yeah, another thing, if you would like to donate, I don't know. This headset, I love it, but I've also had it for 6 years now, so. Carry on, brave soldier. Thank you for your contribution. During a surprisingly low-key and short 90-minute session, several justices appeared to reject the idea the state can regulate talk therapy the same way it regulates medical conduct. Much of the debate seemed to focus on how Colorado would lose rather than whether it would do so. Chief Justice John Roberts pointed to prior decisions in which the court decided to decline to carve out a different First Amendment approach to professional speech. It was a theme several of the court's conservatives returned to repeatedly. Just because they are engaged in conduct doesn't mean their words aren't protected. Bullshit. It is conduct under the guise of medicalization. Like, it is meant to be therapy. It is medicalized. It is not just quote unquote free speech. This idea of hiding behind free speech is cowardly bullshit. God damn. Kaylee Childs, a licensed counselor in Colorado, has challenged the law. Her faith-informed counseling would be speech only and says her clients would voluntarily seek her services. I bet she rejects the term conversion therapy and instead describes her work she hopes to do as helping clients, quote, who have a goal to become comfortable and at peace with their body. Yeah, there's already a kind of becoming comfortable and at peace with your body. When you have dysphoria, it's called transitioning. It's called transitioning. Like, what the fuck, man? We know this doesn't work. Colorado walked into the argument on Tuesday at a disadvantage. The 6-3 conservative Supreme Court has taken an expansive view of the First Amendment. Yeah, I bet. And in recent years also repeatedly ruled against LGBTQ rights. Earlier this year, the court upheld a Tennessee law banning puberty blockers and hormone therapy for trans minors. So if we had any fucking, first off, silly, stupid mouse, thank you very much for following and becoming a member. I appreciate it. Doesn't this imply that any restrictions on who can perform therapy is violating First Amendment? I mean, technically, anybody can perform therapy. Like, therapy is kind of just talking. But most people, and especially if you get, like, insurance and stuff, they'll want to see some accreditation and, like, education. to back up the fact that you have experience in that. In that case, U.S. versus Skirmetti, a 6-3 majority ruled that difficult decisions about trans care would be better left to state legislatures. It's so funny how when they're rolling back protections on people, they'll say, well, we need to let the states decide. Come on, let's not get, I don't know why I switched into Patrick Warburton there for a second. Let's not get carried away here. It's up to the states to decide for people. But then when it comes to like cracking down on and military occupations of cities for the ICE raids, suddenly it's like, oh no, states' rights, fuck you. Yeah, here's my fucking states' rights. I got your states' rights swinging right here, they'll say. Peter. Oh God, my neck is killing me. Cusco's poison. The poison for Cusco. I'm wondering why this regulation at issue here isn't just the functional equivalent of Skirmetti. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, pressed an attorney for the Trump administration, which sided with the therapist. Yeah, no shit. It just seems odd to me that we might have a different result here. Tortuga Neve, that's a pretty good impression. Wow. Oh, you must be new here. I do stupid impressions all the fucking time. Jackson, a member of the court's liberal wing, said that from a very, very broad perspective, she was concerned about making sure that we have equivalence with respect to these things. Yeah, no, good. Chicago, Chi-Town showing up for fucking Kristi Noem. Hell yeah. I did see that. Somebody, Mackenzie L., did you see Kristi Noem bitch and whine because a town wouldn't serve ICE? Yeah. Chicago, apparently ICE, her and her fucking Proud Boy Gestapo kept getting shown the fucking door everywhere they tried to go to like eat or take a piss when they were in town. Good. Fuck you. Did I end up getting the Jar Jar watch? The Jar Jar watch is in the works. I will say that. I'm looking at a YouTube auction for it. You know, they need to do that everywhere you go. Like straight up everywhere. If you are in a place like Chicago, Detroit, you need to refuse service. Hashim Mupin, arguing for the Justice Department, fired back that from a very broad perspective, there shouldn't be equivalence because the child's case involves the First Amendment, while Skirmetti did not. The exchange spoke to the rub in the case, whether therapy is more like medical conduct or speech. It's medical conduct! What the fuck are you talking about? Most of the court seemed to agree that it was speech, likely protected by the First Amendment. Colorado and other states have pointed to research showing that the practice doesn't work and can be harmful. Yeah, no shit. Some of that research shows it increases a person's risk of suicide and can cause other long-term health problems such as depression, anxiety, and high blood pressure. Children who undergo conversion therapy are more than twice as likely to run away. There's a reason why these things were banned. Because it's settled science. Because we've done the research. Not only do we not know it's not effective, not only do we already know it's not effective, additionally, we already know that it's incredibly fucking harmful. In addition to being ineffective, it hurts people. Also, is torture. Because it's not just like they want to make it sound like it's just talk. It's not just talk. It is therapy programs. It is surveillance by doctors and therapists, by churches, by family members, to keep kids from being queer. Naj L, thank you very much for subscribing. Colorado and other states have pointed to research. I already did that. But the Alliance, the ADF, fuck. A religious law group has argued those studies conflate aversive forms of therapy with the kind of talk therapy their client Childs wants to engage with. It's a point Childs' attorney James Campbell included in his opening and closing statement. Now, here's the thing. The ADF, the CNN is kind of burying the lead on groups like this because to call them ideologically motivated would be a massive disservice to everybody's fucking intelligence. They are ideologically captured. These are people who believe entirely that being a good white Christian American is the most important thing you can be. And they are doing everything in their power to enact a Christian nationalist vision of what the country should be, in line with places like the Heritage Foundation and Project 2025. Like, that's what the ADF is about. That's what they support, and that's what they do. It is kind of disingenuous, or at the very least, burying the lead on CNN's part to just call them a religious law group. You're thinking of the ADL. People saying Israel in a hat. You're thinking of the Anti-Defamation League. Very different thing. Colorado can't prove harm because it hasn't cited a study focusing on what's at issue here. Voluntary speech between a licensed professional and a minor. It's not voluntary, though. The minor is not going voluntarily to be sat down and talked at why, oh, you're making God very angry when you're attracted the way you are. You're going against God and his plan for you and your body. You just need to love yourself the way you are. Like, motherfucker, that is the way they are. Maybe you need to love somebody the way they are and not try and torture them to fit in your tiny, stupid little fucking boxes. Yeah. The harm, Stevenson says, comes from telling someone there's something innate about yourself that you can change. Motherfucker, we can! You can change primary and secondary sex characteristics. You can change your gender and your sex. Like, you gotta be so fucking stupid. Like, where did you fucking get your license to practice law from a fucking Cracker Jack box? How stupid can you be to have the brain of a fucking third grader and technically be a lawyer? Oh, wait, no. Solicitor General. Sam Alito, another conservative, pressed Stevenson on another point. How much stock the court should put into medical consent? Look, we've talked about it before. It is not a new thing to look at and be like, hey, we're in a very anti-science time. Everybody is kind of reverting to peasant brain. But that doesn't make it hurt any less when you fucking see this shit and they're like, how much stock should the court, how much should we really care about what medical professionals who spend years of their lives studying this with every waking breath, who have access to thousands of pieces of data that they spend correlating and collating and putting together so that they can draw these medical conclusions in service of helping others, as is their vow as medical professionals, because they take Hippocratic oath. How much is that really worth, though? Like, what Alito is basically saying here is like, yes, I understand all of that, but have you considered? It makes me uncomfortable. Huh? That compelling point. Compelling argument. Was there a time when many medical professionals thought that certain people should not be permitted to procreate because they had low IQs? He's really, okay. So, citing eugenics to support your idea that conversion therapy should be allowed is fucking wild to me. Those two things, you are on the side of that, Alito. You are taking the side of people who say, no, you cannot do this, you need to do this. You are taking the side of, much like eugenics, disproven, primitive pseudoscience that is based more on ideology and worldview than education, data, and medical science. This is the same shit you see every time somebody's like, they're talking about the same dumbasses who, when COVID came out, they were like, oh, this is just like Nazi Germany. It's like, no, it's not. You just haven't been pressed back on anything your entire fucking life. You think this is the worst thing that's happening to you because people are saying, hey, wear a mask, dipshit. Like, this anti-science, anti-intellectualism is so detrimental to the state of the country right now. The fact that we have people on the Supreme Court who are like, yeah, but if you think about it, isn't torturing kids so that they're not gay or not trans, isn't that actually, like, if you're against that, aren't you for eugenics? Think about it. Like, doctors 100 years ago said this thing, so really, how right are doctors? Like, it's such a stupid fucking argument, because if you take it to its logical terminus, you could be like, okay, well, let's apply what people just associated with Christianity have said and done in the past. Do we want to? I don't think we do. You're not that guy. Who you think you are, I am. There's nothing about the statute that stops anyone from sharing any opinion about conversion therapy or how the consensus on that was reached. Zip through the attorneys representing Childs and the federal government with unusual speed. One surprising dynamic was silence from one of the most closely watched members of the court, Kavanaugh, the Trump nominee and rapist. Often viewed as sitting in the court's ideological center, fucking what? Asked no question of either side. Throughout the course of the argument, there were times when the court's three-justice liberal wing appeared to be focused mainly on attempting to limit the impact of a ruling against Colorado. The court could apply a heightened form of First Amendment scrutiny to the law and require a lower court to review it. Again, under that standard, the option would not strike down the law, though it would leave it exceedingly vulnerable, and Colorado could try and justify the requirement again before a trial judge. Decision in the case is expected before the end of June. When was this? 9 hours ago. Next June. Yeah, next June. Jesus Christ. I'm so glad these people have lifetime fucking appointments to spend a year on this shit. Huh? Replicant Diego, what is the world's obsessions with cream pies to this absurd degree? I'm crashing out. Hey, Replicant Diego, what are you talking about? Huh? Why Lifetime? No fucking idea, because we have a goddamn terrible we have a gerontocracy. Like that's what we have. I'm talking about torturing kids to not be queer just so more babies get made. Okay. That's a very weird way with cream pie. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. My partner is running amok in my Discord right now, just being such a little gremlin. I have to go pick her up soon anyway. But the biggest problem with the idea of referring to straight people having sex as cream pies is that I don't know if you know this, but femboy twinks can get pregnant too. It's true. It's true. Most people just don't try hard enough. Many such cases. Many such cases. Many such cases. All right, chap. I could still use a couple bucks for food tonight. If y'all want to donate to the Ko-Fi, it is currently linked on YouTube. I would appreciate it. Let's do... Okay, I will see if I can... or not. There we go. You walked into femboy impregnation? Many such cases. Many such cases. Boynecologist is fucking crazy. What? Boynecologist? That's wild. That's bananas. Can they get pregnant on it? So, okay. I'll do this next stream actually. I'm starving. I need to go get food. I need to go to say hi to my baby. Let us go over to we got Necosaurus, we got Bobvids, we got who do we want to do? Buy burger. I need money to buy burger. Thank you all, by the way, for good night, Purgant. Yeah, let's see if I can fucking make this work on... There we go. God, I don't know what The fucking I hate the raid. I hate the new raid. It's such a terrible system. All right, chap. I love y'all. Have a good night. Stay tuned to the everything, and